Today I'm going to be ranking every Supergirl character from worst to best. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. Starting off our list, coming in at number 5 is going to be Powered Supergirl. Powered Supergirl is definitely a really fun character, but unfortunately nowadays, a lot of characters have a lot of crit resistance, which makes this character not that useful, because her passive relies a lot on crit chance. So what her passive does is it gives her 30% chance for Special 1 to not cost any power on basic and swipe critical attack hits. So basically, whenever you're doing your basic attack hits, you have a 30% chance that if one of your basic attack hits crits, it's going to make it so that your Special 1 doesn't cost any power. In addition, even if your opponent doesn't have a lot of crit resistance, and this passive actually triggers multiple different times, it's still not super worth it just because Powered Supergirl does not do a lot of damage. Moving on to her special abilities, none of them have any sort of buffs or special effects aside from her Special 1, which has dot damage. Powered Supergirl is also a challenge character, which means that you can get her shards and her gear whenever her challenge pops up. But in addition, you cannot get her shards off of raid drops, but you can get her gears. Aside from that, there's really nothing else to say about Powered Supergirl, just because she was a launch character, which means that, she's not really super complex, there's not that many things going on for her, and she hasn't gotten any sort of refactor. I will say that I do enjoy using Powered Supergirl, especially when her passive actually works. But I would have really liked it if this character had another passive that was her main focus, and then this passive would have been kind of like a bonus. Because again, it's not going to trigger all the time, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, so I don't know, I just feel like we should have more with Powered Supergirl, but we don't, and that's why she's coming in at number 5. Moving on to number 4 is going to be Dark Supergirl. Dark Supergirl is a lot like Power Girl in the sense that I just wish we had more to do with this character, because there just isn't that many things going on. She only has one passive, and what it does is that every single time that you tag in Dark Supergirl, she will slam down on the opponent and she will interrupt whatever the opponent is doing, including special abilities. And if she does interrupt a special ability, she will gain 100% damage and 100% critical attack chance for 7 seconds. Now this passive is actually pretty interesting. As a matter of fact, I don't really feel like the problem with this character is the fact that we don't have two passives. I think a bigger problem with this character is her special abilities, because none of Dark Supergirl's special abilities do insane amounts of damage, even with this tag in buff where she gets 100% critical attack chance and 100% damage. And only her Special 1 has a special effect, which is dot damage. If NetherRealm ever refactors this character, I think it would actually be really simple. First of all, they need to make her passive last longer than 7 seconds. 7 seconds is just not enough time. They gotta make it at least 15 seconds. Also, nowadays, so many different characters do so much damage, so make it so that she actually does 200% more damage instead of 100% more damage. And also, for her special abilities, make it so that whatever character just got slammed down on, and their special abilities got interrupted, make them get some sort of negative buff effect. I don't know what it would be called, but make it so that your special abilities do more damage towards that character. They could probably make it so that the character that just got slammed down on maybe gets decreased defense or something. I don't know, man. Just make it so that the special abilities maybe do like 50% more damage. I think that would definitely get this character back on track. Moving on, if you want to unlock Dark Supergirl, she's actually really easy to get off of the arena seasons, because this character is really old, so not that many people try to go get her. And if you want to get her gears, they're also located in the arena store. You can also get her gears off of raid drops, but not her shards. Dark Supergirl is definitely a character with a lot of potential, but the way she is right now, she's coming in at number 4. Now moving on to number 3 is going to be Multiverse Supergirl. Multiverse Supergirl has one passive. She gives 15% defense for the entire team, and she also makes it so that whenever her multiverse teammates reach 50% of their health, they're going to be taking 50% less damage. I actually really like this passive because it's really tanky, and I don't normally say that, but the reason why I like it with the Multiverse team is because Multiverse The Flash and Multiverse Armored Supergirl, they're already going to be doing a lot of damage, so that's covered. And since you're going to add a third character to your team, might as well add a character that's going to help your team survive, and Multiverse Supergirl does exactly that. Moving on to her special abilities, her Special 3 does not have any effects, but her her special 1 does do dot damage, and her special 2 freezes. Her special 2 is actually really fun to use, and sometimes if you're in a bad situation, you might get lucky and just spam special 2s, and you might be able to defeat the opponent, because they're just going to be frozen all the time and taking damage, and they're not really going to be able to do anything. Also, keep in mind that Multiverse Supergirl is a multiverse teammate, which means that she's going to be getting a lot of different buffs from a lot of different characters. If you want to unlock Multiverse Supergirl, it might be hard or it might be easy depending on how good you do in the arena seasons, because this character does pop up in the arena seasons. In addition, you can get her gears off of the arena store. You can also get her gears off of raid drops, but not her shards. Anyways, there's really not that much to say about Multiverse Supergirl because she's a tank, and tanks are usually very simplistic, and this character is exactly that. She helps out her team with some defense and from taking a little bit less damage, and she's also part of the multiverse team, which means that she's going to be getting a bunch of different buffs, and that's why she's coming in at number 3. Now moving on to number 2 is going to be Multiverse Armored Supergirl. This character is the exact opposite from everybody else on this list because she is not simplistic. There's a lot of different things going on with Multiverse Armored Supergirl. This character is basically the guy from Split because there's like 5 different characters thrown into this one character just because Multiverse Armored Supergirl has so many different passives and so many different buffs. Alright, so starting off with her passives, her passive 1 gives 1 power bar per multiverse teammate and multiverse opponent. So basically whenever the match starts, according to how many multiverse characters are in that battle, is going to depend how many power bars you're going to start off with. Moving on to her passive 2, she gets 25% power generation per might opponent. And finally for her passive 3, it's really similar to Dark Supergirl's passive where she can interrupt somebody whenever you tag her in. However, whenever she interrupts a special ability, she will gain 4 power bars, and also she's only going to interrupt if you tag her after a multiverse teammate. Moving on to her special abilities, her special 1 does dot damage, and it also does extra damage to might opponents, and it also inflicts burning. And what burning does is it will cut the opponent's defense in half, and it will make it so that multiverse crit attacks cannot be resisted. Moving on to her special 2, it will give her teammates crit immunity and will increase their defense. And finally, for her special 3, it does additional damage towards burning opponents, and it gives you 40 seconds of reflect immunity, and it also gives extra crit damage and crit chance. So as you can see, Multiverse Armored Supergirl is very diverse. She has a lot of different passives and a lot of different buffs going on for her, and it makes her such a badass character because, well, she's pretty much prepared for any situation. And of course, the cherry on top with this character is just the fact that she's a multiverse character, so she's also going to be getting buffs from characters like Multiverse of Flash, Multiverse Supergirl, Multiverse Green Arrow, and it just makes her even more diverse. If you want to get Multiverse Armored Supergirl, she's in the arena season, and because this character is really good, it might be a little bit difficult because a lot of people want to get this character. And unfortunately, you cannot get this character off of raid drops, but you can get her gear off of raid drops and the arena store. And also, this kind of goes without saying, but if you're going to get Multiverse Armored Supergirl, you pretty much also want to get Multiverse the Flash because he gives you a lot of really great buffs, and he makes it so that you don't really have to worry about adding too many gear talents for crit chance and for crit damage. And whenever you finally do get Multiverse Armored Supergirl, the way you want to use this character is actually really simple. You just want to keep using her special 1 so that you keep inflicting burning on the opponent, and it's going to last quite a while. And so every single time that the opponent has burning, then you want to use your special 3. And whenever the burning goes out, that's when you use a special 1 again, and then you keep using special 3s until the burning goes away, and then you use a special 1. It's honestly a really simple process. Anyways, with all that being said, now let's move on to number 1, which is going to be Power Girl. I know Power Girl technically isn't a Supergirl, but aside from 2 big differences, she's still a Supergirl. I mean, she moves exactly the same way. She looks pretty much exactly the same way. She even has the same special 1. So yeah, this is a Supergirl. Anyways, the reason why she's coming in at number 1 is really simple. She's a really great support character, and it's because of her passive. Her passive makes it so that everybody in the team's special abilities is going to cost 2 power bars less. And it's honestly that simple. It might not seem like a really big deal at first glance, but everybody loves this character, and everybody loves Dr. Fate because he has the same passive, And there's just no denying, this is one of the best passives in the entire game, and definitely a really simple passive as well. And Power Girl is actually a really easy character to get. All you really have to go do is get her off of the League store, and her shards also drop off of raid drops. And as long as you promote her up to 4 stars, you're pretty much golden, because that's pretty much where her passive maxes out. You can also get her gears off of the League store, and her gears also drop off of raid drops as well. So promoting this character and making her a decent tank, because she is a support character, is going to be really easy. Some people do like to build her as a damage dealer because she does do decent damage. However, I kind of find it a little bit of a waste of reforges because she's not going to be breaking any records or anything like that, and as long as she's pretty much in any team, she's going to make that team way better. In terms of her special abilities, her special one does do dot damage, and I cannot remember which special has an infinite combo, but it's either her special 2 or her special 3. And aside from that, there's really nothing else to say about this character. Power Girl is just an amazing support, and she's a really simple support, which just makes her even better. Anyways guys, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a nice day, stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later.